It was a day of global warming lunacy in the nation's capital today, with weather warnings out for cold, wet and windy conditions right across much of southern Australia, including the ACT. Labor were in Canberra trumpeting the deals they'd done to pass their new climate action laws. Labor has already signed up to it, of course, the higher emissions reduction target of 43% by 2030. Remember, they wrote to the United Nations even before they'd bothered to turn up in the Australian Parliament, and they promised the United Nations they would deliver 43%. Now they want to legislate it in our Parliament, and to do that, they've done little side deals with the Greens and the Teals.
It's a good day for our economy, it's a good day for our future. The climate wars may or may not be over, but they're certainly in retreat.
Yeah, well, Labor are very relieved to get a promise from the Greens to pass their plan, but I don't think the so-called climate wars are over. Remember, Kevin Rudd put up an emissions reduction scheme. Julia Gillard legislated a carbon tax. There have been many false dawns when it comes to trying to settle a national consensus on climate. And to get commitments to pass its plans, Labor has had to accommodate the whims of people who think it's not only voters who get an election mandate.
In this parliament, where less than a third of the country voted Labor, yes, Labor has some mandate and the Greens have some mandate. But more important is our mandate from the planet and the laws of physics. If Labor continues to open up new coal and gas, the planet will burn. And that is the mandate that we all need to listen to.
Good Lord, the planet will burn. The planet has a mandate. I don't remember the planet's campaign, or I didn't see it on the ballot paper either. And now it's got a mandate. How do we ask it what to do? Not only that, of course, but the Greens are going to continue to push Labor for more in this policy area.
So to be crystal clear, the Greens have improved a weak climate bill, but the fight to stop Labor opening new coal and gas mines continues. And in this parliament, the only obstacle to greater climate ambition is Labor.
Well, there you go. Labor as the only obstacle now. The posturing, of course, is continuing, along with the ridiculous pretense from seemingly all parties that somehow the laws in Australia can change the global climate, something they all know is nonsense. And if that's not bad enough, Labor admits it doesn't even need these laws.
We could live with the legislation being passed or not being passed. What the legislation being passed does, though, is to lock in, as we said clearly, this is a floor, not a ceiling, so we lock in progress.
Well, you lock in cost increases, you lock in more uncertain electricity supplies, you lock in more economic upheaval, you lock in more red tape and green tape to curtail investment. But I don't know that you can call that progress. This is going to get real messy, doing more harm to ourselves while we know it will do nothing at all to change the climate, because global emissions continue to rise. That's simply the truth. The unarguable, scientific, rational truth. But as a Victorian viewer shared with me today in a fantastic old saying, when you tell the truth, you want to have one foot in the stirrup. And yes, this is another one of those truths that people just don't want to hear.